So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Michelle Gatt. I am a Thermomix consultant and team leader. I have been in this business for over 7.5 years. Now, I jumped on board to earn my TM31 back then for free. I was on maternity leave. I had a 5-month-old baby and a 2-year-old, and I didn't want to pay for a Thermomix or couldn't afford the Thermomix, so I jumped on board to earn it. I was only hanging around for the, I'm just going to mute some people. I was only hanging around for
not to that extent.
for the 2 months just to take my Thermomix and run, and I realised that I love doing what I'm doing. And then I obviously had the opportunity to earn the TM5 and then now the TM6, and now we're working towards the black TM6, which is fantastic. So we may get started because we are 4 minutes past 8. So we will be going through and showing, as I said, the features and functions, but also talking about host rewards and all the different things that are on offer as well. So I'll kick you off, and the beautiful Amanda Bell is going to start us. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to change the view, and hopefully everybody can see a speaker view. So I'm just going to highlight Amanda, and while I do that, I'm just going to make all the consultants a co-host as well. Can everybody see Amanda in the large screen? If you can't, just change your view to speaker view, and you should be able to see her nice and big so you can get the most of this cooking class. Thanks, Amanda.
No problems. Hi, everyone. I've been a consultant on Michelle's team for about 4 years now. And like Michelle, fell in love with the Thermomix when I had little ones, and I'm still here in the business. And yeah, have the TM5 like many of you, and then the TM6 as well. So definitely love the functions that come with the TM6, and that everything is in the screen and nice and easy for you. So tonight I'm going to be cooking the beef fajitas using the high heat temp mode. So I'm just going to go into my week, and I've got that planned ready to go in my meal planner. So I've got the beef fajitas. Obviously I can scroll down and it shows me exactly the ingredients that I need and the preparation that I need to go through. So if I wanted to skip ahead in any of the steps, I could go to step 2 if I wanted to, which technically I would do tonight because I've already grated the cheese. So because I've got little ones asleep in bed, I did this today. So instead of I put the 200 grams of cheese in, popped the lid on, and then for 3 seconds at speed 7, I've got the beautiful grated crumbly cheese. So instead of buying the grated cheese that has the wood chips in it, I've got that from scratch. So we don't buy grated cheese in our house anymore. That's definitely one thing we've learnt from having our Thermomix that we love. And it means we don't have to have all the different types of cheeses and whatnot as well. So it saves money in that respect. So then I cleaned the bowl, so I don't have to do that now, which is awesome. Then it's asking me to place a thermal serving bowl or other large bowl on top of the mixing bowl lid. So this is a family favourite in our house, the fajitas. We cook it all the time. So I know what's coming, and I usually don't do this step. So it asked me to put the bowl on the top, which is great. It will weigh anything that I put into that bowl. So if you needed it for a different recipe, or if you were cooking something in the Thermomix and wanted to prep another recipe whilst you were using it, you can weigh whilst it's cooking as well. So I've got some cherry tomatoes that I've popped in here. And then I'm going to squeeze, so I'll just tear that back to 0, and then I'm going to squeeze 20 grams of lime in there. And for TM5 owners, one of my favorite things about the TM6 is that it weighs by 1 gram increments. So I know with the TM5, when you're squeezing your lemon or your lime and whatnot, it doesn't actually pick it up very well. But with this one, I've got 22 grams of lime in because it's really accurate and a lot more sensitive. It's really good at picking up those smaller quantities. So I've got my lime juice on there. And then it says to add 4 sprigs of fresh coriander. and then stir to combine and then set that aside. So I've got that there ready to go. That's a little side. So the recipe asks for that to be mixed in with the veggies and the meat that we're about to cook, but a lot of our family don't like tomatoes, me being one of them. So I'll just leave that to the side. So then whoever does like it, then they can eat the tomatoes. Okay, so one fresh long, it says a red chili, but I've got a green one, so hopefully it's not as spicy. And just pop that in. So I've just chopped that in half. And now for 3 seconds, turning that up to speed 7. And it's nice and quiet. It's not going to wake anyone up, which is fantastic. Okay, so it actually says for once, do not scrape the sides of the mixing bowl. So that's just popped all of the chili out to the edges of the mixing bowl. And it doesn't want me to scrape that down because it doesn't want the chili sitting on the bottom of the bowl and getting the direct high heat, because then it can turn the chili quite bitter. So it wants some olive oil. So 30 grams. I'll just pop that in there. Then next, okay, so now it wants some red onion cut into wedges, 1 to 2 centimeters. So I've got that there ready to go. And it says 170 grams. I just do 1 onion, but if you like onion, you could definitely add 2. So that'll be a bit under, it's around 100 grams. Then it wants some red capsicum de-seeded and cut into thin strips. So I've got that there ready to go. And then it says yellow capsicum. Our family likes or prefers carrot. So I just chop carrot up nice and finely and put that in instead. So it just shows you that you can adapt a recipe to what suits you as well. So just because it says that yellow capsicum doesn't mean you need to necessarily use the yellow capsicum. You can change that up a little bit. Okay, so then I'm going to pop the splash guard on instead of the measuring cup, and that's because it's going into the high temp mode. So I'm going to hit done, and then for 8 minutes, it's set that function for me. So it'll go into the high temp mode and it will saute those vegetables for me. And that's that.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Amanda. So also too, in the chat, I am putting in the recipe links on Cookidoo and also any mix shop items or anything that we use. So you can save the chat or you can just copy and paste it. And I will also be sending everybody an email out with the information also. So over to Nathan. He's going to make a delicious recipe that he introduced me to, and that's the seared steak salad, which is absolutely divine. So hold on to your seats. Hopefully you've all had dinner because we're going to make you hungry tonight. Over to you, Nathan.
Thanks, Michelle. Howdy, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm Nathan. I'm part of Michelle's team. I've been a consultant for over 12 months now, and I've had a Thermomix in my home kitchen for about 4 years as well, or close to 4 years. And I've joined the team last year, 12 months ago, roughly, and to earn my TM6 machine from the TM5. So this evening, I'm going to be making my favourite, as my teammates know, the seared beef steak and rocket salad. It is super quick. I got home late. I work in Sydney, so I got home late tonight. I was actually in the office today and had this prepped, ready to cook within about 15 minutes. So that's pretty good. So we're just going to follow the guided steps on the screen here. Amanda mentioned that she's already added her fajitas into her weekly planner, so I've done the same for myself. So I just go to home, my week, and I've already got this meal saved in here. And we'll just start cooking. Okay, so we're going to weigh in 50 grams of brown onions. I've just halved it, and it just says just to slice thinly. So, throwing it at the camera now. So I've just done that. So tip that in. And the next step, I'm going to add in 20 grams of oil. Go, spot on. And pop our lid on with our measuring cup. You go next. And this is going to automatically cook for 2 minutes at 120 degrees on speed 1. And the blades are going to go in reverse. So on the screen here, it's got like a backwards arrow. So when that is cooking, it's not going to chop your onions up any further, as the reverse side of the blade is the blunt side. So while that's cooking, if you're inspired by any dishes that we're making this evening or in the future, you can use our hashtag Legends Mixed It on social media, and we'll be able to see those as they come up. So while this is cooking for 2 minutes, you can also use the preview button on the screen, and you can see the upcoming steps as well. So once this is done after 2 minutes, we'll be adding in 200 grams of beef, just in strips. And I've just got some rosemary on that. It says to use fresh. I didn't have any fresh left, so I've just used dry. So I actually made this dish, I think twice last week. I did some meal prep. So I just I can do the meat and then stop the recipe once it's cooked and pop it in the freezer. So I can just grab what I need out the freezer and add it to a fresh salad. Okay, so the beef will cook for 4 minutes, and then it just asks us to weigh in our lettuce and tomato, sorry, not lettuce. It's been a long day. Rocket and cherry tomatoes. So I've done that already ahead of time. So this is my white thermo server. So you can get this off the meat shop. This one fits in your Veroma, and it's a perfect size for this salad that I'm making this evening. So we've got 4 seconds left on this, and I'll show you what it looks like. And it's actually sizzling away. So that's what it looks like. And off to our next step is just to weigh in our 200 grams of beef. I've got a little bit more than 200. I wouldn't go too much over the 200 because it's not going to cook all your meat in the allocated time. Okay, so like Amanda's recipe, we use the high heat function, which is only available on the TM6, which comes with a flashcard. Yes.
If they wanted to cook 400 grams, how would they do that?
Yep, so you would do the first lot of 200, the meat with the onion, and then what you can do is take that meat out and then go back a step and add in the next lot of 200 grams of beef.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah, so when I was doing some meal prep, I actually did this with I'll get this going first, sorry. So this is going to cook for 4 minutes on high heat. So that'll start cooking away and stirring itself while it cooks. Yeah, so can you still hear me while that's running?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was doing some like sauteed onions, and then I decided to thinly slice some chicken on the high heat. And I just added in my, I actually used coconut oil instead of olive oil, and a bit of soy sauce and I just had that with some veggies. So I've been doing a meal plan at the gym, so I'm following kind of clean eating type thing. So this machine is actually perfect for that.
Awesome. We might just flick over to Danny and she can get her mode going, and we'll see how Amanda's going with her steps as well. So I'll just flick over to Danny.
Hi everybody, how are we tonight? I hope we're having fun learning the TM6. I'm going to be showing one of the modes on here, which is a new mode only added a couple of months ago. And all the modes are on a different screen. I don't know if you can see that with the glare, but this is the beauty of the TM6. Every mode is at the touch of your fingertips. So I'm just going to scroll up to the peeler, and the peeler is our new one, and it tells you on the information of using that peeler. But I'm going to just hit the X in the corner to get rid of that, okay? So it's just got the peeler and the time. So what the peeler is, it looks like this funny looking wave thing. Now what it is, it's the new replacement blade cover. But not only is it a blade cover to use for your sous vide or your slow cooking, or some people use it for their poached eggs, as long as you've got this blade cover on, it stops whatever the content is on the top of the bowl hitting your blades. So that's what this is used for. And then Vorwerk came up with this idea of doing the metal blade cover, and it's got these little holes in it which actually rub the skin off your vegetables. So to pop it in, you can see how it's sort of all angled. The bits that go up, so the higher bits will go over the high blade. So there's two little lugs to hold it. Just hold it, pop it over the higher blade, and it just locks into place. So there it is, it's sitting there, it's covered the blade. So while the blades are turning, we're not going to chop up whatever we've got in here. So I'm just going to show you what the main thing of using this for is for peeling your hard vegetables like your potato, sweet potato, carrots, but it also does your ginger, garlic, beetroots, because you don't get all the red, purple hands. To do this, you put in 600 grams of water. So I'm just going to pour it in. There's a line on the inside that shows you your 500, but I'm just going to pop it in about 600, which is, I think, what I had in this jug anyway. So I put in my 600 ml of water. Now I've got all these potatoes. I don't think you can see, but I've got some smaller ones and some large ones, see? So I'm going to pop the smaller ones in straight away. So that sort of size, they're going in. And the two larger ones, I'm just going to cut in half because I want them to all be not too big, and they should fit through round about the hole that's in the lid. Okay, so they should be round about that size. So the larger ones, I just cut in half, pop those in. So now I've just got a jug full of potatoes. Now, the rule is, as long as you don't go over 800 grams of your vegetable, you'll be fine. So I'm just going to pop the lid on. Now, this won't work if you're a TM5 owner. The blade cover does work on the TM5. It is designed to work on that. But if you've got the original TM5 lid, MC, which is sort of that clear plastic one, it doesn't have the little locking lugs underneath. This lid, or MC, locks in place, okay? But if you have the TM5 one, as soon as you start to rotate all those potatoes, it will make that lid fly off. So it's set for 4 minutes. All I do is just tap on the peeler icon, turn the button, and it's going. Now, it's going to make some noise. It's going to dance around. So I don't know if you can still hear me.
No. Awesome. No, we can't. We'll flick over to Amanda and then Nathan.
I can't hear you.
We can't hear you. We'll flick over to Nathan and then Amanda, and then you can finish off.
Cover is the host reward. So if you want to host a cooking experience, either online or in person, this is one of the rewards. So there's $58 at the big shop, and you can get one of these as the current host reward, or your thermo service and things like that. Okay, this will be stopped in a couple of minutes, so I don't know if you want to come back to me.
Thanks, Danny. what Danny was saying just before we flick over to Amanda is that the potato peeler is a limited time only host reward. So you can get a couple of friends together in person or virtually and get your hands on that peeler. So over to you, Amanda. How are you going? Have you finished that first step?
Yep, all done. Okay. So it's sauteed those veggies. And now I'm just going to transfer those into the bowl with the cherry tomatoes. But like I said, I'll do that separately. So I've just got my thermo server to keep it hot while we cook the meat. So they're all nice and soft now, and they'll continue to cook a little bit once I put the lid on the thermo server. So that'll keep that hot. I like to do this dish in the afternoon as well, and just leave it in the thermo server. So then when everyone's home, it's ready to go. Okay, so now I've got my spices here in a bowl ready to go. So I've got a teaspoon of onion powder, 2 1/4 teaspoons of cumin, coriander, and some smoked paprika and some salt and pepper. So I just pop all of that into the bowl with another 40 grams of olive oil. And pop that in there. And then pop the lid back on with the measuring cup this time. And then that's just going to cook those spices off and heat them for a minute.
Awesome. We might just flick over quickly to Nathan and to see how he's travelling. How you going there, Nathan?
Yep. So we're just it just finished cooking a couple minutes ago.
Yep.
I'll show you what it looks like.
Yummo.
Okay. It's all cooked. So there is a bit of juice in the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're just going to remove as much of the onion and the beef as we can, and the liquid that's left in there will form part of the sauce or dressing that we're about to make. So what I'll do is it'll tell you on the screen what's to go next. So actually next is just preparing your or weighing in your rocket and cherry tomatoes, and just preparing cutting up an avocado. I always leave this separate and just add it in as I'm serving it up. Otherwise, it just goes really brown if you're popping it in the fridge for leftovers. So. All right, so just transfer the steak into the bowl, use your tongs, and leave that liquid in.
Does anyone have any questions or anything? Come off mute or type it in the chat.
So another tip for this one is I love to have this on tortilla wraps as well. It's super yummy, and I know that Michelle's tried that one out as well.
Yes, Nathan's introduced me to this salad, and it is definitely a go-to while you're camping or a quick meal after sport or whatever on a busy afternoon.
Yeah.
So you can see that caramelization there in the bottom. See, that's going to add the flavour. So Nathan's going to use his spatula and just decaramelize that, and that's just going to get extra flavour into the dressing that he's just about to make.
Yeah, so just scrape down on the blunt side of the blade. A bit hard to show.
Yeah,
sorry.
Okay, Nathan.
Yep, and then pop that back on, and we're going to add in the remainder of the ingredients for our dressing. So we've got, I've pre-weighed it, so I'll just talk you through it. We've got 30 grams of walnuts, which I've substituted for almonds this evening. 20 grams of lime juice, 10 grams of honey, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground black pepper. So I've also made this with cashews and peanuts. I just use whichever I've got in the pantry at the time, and 20 grams of oil.
Pine nuts is another good one.
Yes.
Megan's just asked, and I'll let you answer this, Nathan, is the meat nice and tender?
Yes. I've found that sometimes I've brought the beef from Aldi and their beef isn't very good. I think the quality wise compared to, I usually go to the local butcher and get beef there. And I find that the beef from the actual butcher rather than Aldi or the supermarket is a lot nicer. And once it comes out and you taste it, it's a whole, I can taste the actual difference in it. So yes, it does. If you're going to get the cheapest, like I did at Aldi a couple of weeks ago to try it out, I wasn't the biggest fan, but with the local butcher's beef, I loved it. That's the beef that I prefer to use.
And Sherry's
Nathan,
asked,
it doesn't. Sorry, Nathan. It doesn't. You don't have to use a lot of beef anyway in the recipe, so it's not like it's costing you a fortune at the butcher's anyway. So that's what I found. It's a really good recipe. I have used the Aldi as well, and that was okay. But I do agree, coming from the butchers, it does make a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Sherry's just asked quickly, Nathan, does it taste seared or does it taste broiled?
Sorry, seared or what? Sorry.
Broiled.
No, it does taste seared. Yep.
Because the TM6 is caramelizing and it's like you're doing it on a fry pan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So once that's all in, pop your lid on with your measuring cup, and all it's doing now is just going to chop it up or blend it for 3 seconds on speed 5. And then after that 3 seconds, our dressing is ready. So it will be slightly chunky. That's how it's meant to be. So all you need to do is just pour it straight on. And then just scrape out your dregs. And don't forget, with the TM6, you can just use your pre-clean mode when you're finished with the recipe. And all I do now, I've just tipped it straight in. So I'll just give it a mix through. And don't forget your avo. I'm not going to add mine on tonight, but I will when I go to eat some, because I haven't had dinner, but I will pop my avo in on the top.
And that is delicious. And Beth's just put in the comments she's used lemon instead of lime if that's what she's got, and it tastes just as good as well.
Oh, cool. Good tip.
So now I'm going to flick over to the lovely Kyra, who's going to make the cooked mayo, which is a fantastic staple to have, which is super easy to make. So over to you, Kyra.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi. I'm just going to quickly go into my weekly menu where I've actually got the cooked mayonnaise ready. This is an absolute perfect staple. It doesn't take long to make, and you can do it in your TM5 if you've got your TM5, for those who've got TM5s. And I love, this is like one of the main pantry staples I make at home is mayonnaise, because my boys absolutely love it. But if you, like, it might have been 12 months ago or more, they introduced this new cooked mayonnaise. So I've been doing that one as well. So I'm just going to place a jug on the top of our bowl like so, and we're going to weigh in our grapeseed oil. So tell us in the comments if you've actually made mayonnaise in your Thermomix. Is that something that you're doing? Because a lot of people avoid it, but it's so easy to do. And I just think you just need to give it a go. So we're just popping in 300 grams of our grapeseed oil. And the reason why you use grapeseed oil when you're making mayonnaise is you don't want to use something like olive oil, because it actually will be really, really strong in olive oil. So grapeseed is really quite plain. I just buy whatever's the cheapest, usually in the 1 litre bottle, because I do use it quite a bit. So we're just popping that jug aside now because we've measured out what we need to. I've got a teaspoon of Himalayan salt there. We're just going to pop that in. And 30 grams of white vinegar. You could also use lemon if you wanted to, lemon juice instead of the vinegar, because you just want that acidity. And now we're going to just pop our lid on, and we're going to cook that for 3 minutes on speed 1. Beauty. Now I'm just going to preview. We've cracked our eggs ready to go. So I don't know if you can see that on our screen. I'll try and bring it up so you can see that. Let me know if you can see it. It's a bit hard. You can actually you can't see it.
No, but Cara, if you just quickly, I know it's a bit hard, but if you just do it for 1 second, just flip the camera the other way, we'll be able to see it. Sometimes it's just the glare of the phone. We can see that a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I might even just reduce the light. Hang on. Is that better?
It's a little bit better. Yep.
Hang on. Let me just go back to that.
That's good.
So, yeah. So as you can see, I'll just go back to where we were. This is where we were. It's all cooking away on the screen there. But if I hit preview, it's actually going to tell me what's next. And I can actually quickly, you can see here, there's a number 7 is where we're up to. But this is actually number 8 where we put the eggs in. We're then going to, cook them off for 30 seconds. We're going to pop the eggs in, Then we're going to pop in them. So it's telling us like really, really simply on the screen there, giving us a preview, or I can scroll back like that, or I can just hit the number 7 and it'll take me back to where I was before. You do also have access, like you have on the 5, to our recipe detail that will take you down, but this is actually a little bit clearer. We've got all our hints and tips all there. So that's all that. And then we'll just continue. Hope that makes sense.
Another quick tip there just to say, Cara, because we've got a few people looking at the upgrade.
Yeah.
You just talk about the connectivity, that you don't have to sync it. If you just explain that.
Yeah, no, you totally don't have to sync it. So I'm just going to hit my home page now, and I'm just going to scroll across. Instead of actually using another device like your mobile phone or whatever, we can actually search straight up onto the screen here, our recipes. So say for instance, I want to cook something with chicken. I can add in chicken here. I'm just going to chicken. And now it's actually going to come up with on the screen all of the chicken recipes. So I hope you can see that. We can load some more. You can even go like you would on your phone or your iPad or computer, whatever you're using. You can go into your filters and you can say, okay, well, I want it to be a soup. And you can actually filter out the recipes. So before it was a ridiculous amount. Now we're down to 92 results. And you can do things like say, oh, I just want it to have a capsicum in it, all of that sort of stuff, and it will be all there for you. Let me just bring the camera around again. All righty, so we'll press next. I've cracked the eggs, done that. So now it's just 30 seconds. We're going to add these through the mixing bowl lid. So pop them in, both in. And unlike the other traditional mayonnaise recipe, this is actually hot. So doing that. So it's just going to cook those eggs off for us. We've got 10 seconds to go. And then we're going to start adding our oil to emulsify. So it's really, 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 really simple. So a minute and a half, all the way around to speed 6. And all I'm going to do is pour the oil in. I don't know if you can hear me because it's going so fast.
Yeah, we can. We can.
Okay, good. So the other thing is that we've got these spatulas that come with our Thermomix, and with the TM6, this one's a lot more flexible. But I really also love these long-handled spatulas, longer than the other one, and they can just get around everything really, really easily as well. So if you're wanting something, a different spatula, these are awesome. So these are on the mix shop, and I think they're about $12.95 or something like that, but they are brilliant. But the TM6, they have obviously made those finer adjustments to make it a little bit easier to use our spatulas, especially for things like mayonnaise or when we're making toffee or things like that in our Thermomixes. This is actually easier for us to get it out. I know a lot of people have used like cheap spatulas in the past instead of the hard one, but look at this. This is our mayo done. How easy is that? So all I need to do now is pop that into a jar in the fridge, and it will last about 3 weeks in your fridge. So it's probably about, I'm trying to think, it's probably about 350 grams of mayonnaise, but super easy to make with just vinegar, oil, eggs, and a bit of salt, like 4 different ingredients, but tastes amazing. You can also add flavorings to it. So one that I'll do a little bit is sriracha in there to make it a little bit spicier for my boys, or to add, it says you can add raw garlic. I prefer to get some cloves of garlic when I'm actually baking something in the oven and just throw them in there and confit those. Just cook them off and then squeeze out the garlic into it, because then it's not as bitter. It's the garlic's sweeter without adding sugars and things. So that's how I would personally flavour my mayonnaise. I've also done things like just chopped up some thyme out of my garden in the actual bowl before I actually started to make the mayonnaise, and let that go through there. So yeah, but there's lots of things you do, even just a little bit of sweet chili sauce if you wanted to, if you're worried about the sriracha. There's lots of
mustard.
And mustard, yes, mustard is what's in the traditional recipe. But I like this one now. I'm a bit more of a fan. I find it's a bit more like the Kewpie mayonnaise, and my boys like that one. So there you go. So I hope you found that helpful. If you're not doing mayonnaise, I totally recommend you giving it a go, because it really is really simple. And as you saw, it's fairly quick and inexpensive, doesn't have a lot of ingredients in it. And you do need to try Nathan's dish that he made tonight with the seared steak. It is super impressive. So yeah, give him a go.
Thanks so much, Kyra. And Kyra's got our mini vac in the background there, which is the current gift with purchase. So if you purchase a Thermomix on or before the 9th of February, you actually get that little Thermomix made mini vac, which is valued at $2.99, and that's free. So it's pretty amazing. So over to you, Amanda. We'll come over and finish this recipe off.
Okay, excellent. Whilst Kyra was making her mayo, I started the next step of putting the beef strips in, because it was much the same as Nathan and his steak. So it asked for 350 grams of the beef fillet strips. Like Nathan mentioned, you could do 2 batches of that for a bigger family. I tend to cheat. It doesn't sear it as well. It kind of sautés it a little bit more. I put the whole 500 grams in, and then I just turn it up for a couple of extra minutes, just to feed the family with having to do that step twice. So it's actually just finished cooking for its 10 minutes. And I'll just check that that's cooked through. So it was cooking in there with its spices. And I just had to mix the spices to coat it before it started cooking. So that is beautifully cooked and smells delicious with all those spices. So from someone that used to buy 5 years ago, used to buy the fajita kits, I definitely love that I can do all of this from scratch now using the the spices and knowing what's in it and that there's no preservatives or anti-caking agents and bits and pieces. So now I just transfer that into the thermo server with the vegetables and mix it through, and then you can serve that with tortillas and lettuce and your cheese and some guacamole, whatever you like to serve your fajitas or Mexican type dishes with. So I just pop that in there and I'll mix that through.
Wow, look at all that. That's quite a large serving. So you're going to have that for dinner tomorrow night, are you?
Will, yep. So what I'll do as well, so I'll just finish that one off and I'll go into my modes tomorrow night and I'll use up the warm-up mode. So rather than heating it up in the microwave or on the stove, I'll just pop it back into the Thermomix. I'll set the temperature that I want the food at, and it'll heat it up for me without actually overcooking it and making the beef too chewy.
Can you hold that up so we can just see how much food's in there, please?
Definitely. I'll just stir the veggies around so you can see the beautiful colours in there. Okay.
Yummo, that's delicious. And we'll get some photos up as well so you guys can see that.
Yeah.
And Amanda's just going to quickly just show us how to put on the cleaning function as well, which me personally is one of my favourite ones. While we're eating our dinner, the Thermomix is actually washing the dishes, which is fabulous. Amanda can quickly.
Yeah, so I'm just going to pop a litre of water into the bowl and then pop it into the pre-clean mode. So I can also add a couple of drops of dishwashing liquid as well. And then it gives me the option to do a dough clean. So if I've made dough for pizza or bread or anything like that, it gets quite sticky around the blades. So it just uses that mode and that function to clean away all of that dough so we don't have to pick it off. A universal, a fat or caramel or a browning. So I've got browning on the bottom of my bowl, so I'm just going to pop that on there, and then it's going to heat that water, swish it all around so it cleans the top of the lid as well. And it's telling me that it's going to go for approximately 8 minutes. So like Michelle said, whilst we're having dinner or serving or making lunches or doing something, that's cleaning itself. And then when it's done, I can just give it a rinse out. And then it's done, ready to go again.
Thanks, Amanda. I'll flick over to Danny because we're going to run out of time to do the Cookidoo presentation. So she can finish up and then I'll...
Okay, I'm going to be really quick. There is my peeled potatoes. So I don't know if you can see that I'm standing on my tippy toes.
Yep.
But all of those are peeled. Now that only took 4 minutes, okay? And, you know, it was done virtually by the time Michelle switched over to somebody else. I'm going to quickly show you one other mode, which is the egg boiler. So on the screen in these modes, we've got so many modes, but if I click on the egg boiler, that brings up a little circle here where you can choose how you like your eggs. Now, if you want to cook eggs soft in the middle, so your kids want to put dunk soldiers, you know, the toast strips into the egg, you'll use the medium soft, because that means you're going to cook the white on the outside, but you're going to leave the yolk all runny. Okay, so you can do soft, medium, medium, hard, and hard. So all you would do is take your machine, put in, I always put my eggs in first. So you put your egg in around the blades. Now with the egg boiler mode, the beauty of that is the blades don't move. In every other mode with the Thermomix, the blades always continually moving and stirring. But by just popping your eggs around the blades, that's all you do. Now you can do, I've done 6 as a maximum, so I don't know how many more you could fit in, but you pop those in just around your blades and you put in your 600 ml or thereabouts of water, okay? So I just sort of pour and make sure the blades are covered basically. And then I would just put that on and press, you turn the dial to press or put your lid on, turn it around to how you want your eggs done and then press start. I'm not going to do that now because I've already just done the eggs. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to take those eggs out. This is something that not many people know right now. Okay, I'm going to take those eggs out and I'm going to put in my peeler again. So again, I'm going to place this over the high blades, the higher parts of it over the high blade. So that's locked in place. Okay, now I'm going to get out of, my hands are wet. I'm going to get out of the egg boiler mode. I'm going to pop my eggs back in here again. I need a bit more water because it should cover the cover. So I've just popped my 2 eggs in over the blade cover, put on the lid. Now I'm going to go back to home. I don't know if you can see the screen there, but I'm going to put this on about 12 seconds. Now 12 seconds may be too much, all right? And I'm just going to go to speed 3.5.
So you've used the boiled eggs, not the raw eggs.
Yeah, so no, they're boiled.
Yeah, because it'd be a disaster if you used the, the raw eggs.
Okay, so I've just stopped it.
I'm intrigued. I haven't seen this, Daddy.
Sorry?
I'm intrigued. I haven't seen this.
Okay, one of them's still got a bit on it, but what it's done is it's separated the membrane. So there's peeled egg. This one's totally peeled. So can you see that? And that was, what I put on for 8 seconds. 8 seconds for you. Now it's better if the eggs are still warm. These were cold because I boiled them this afternoon, okay? But how quick is that? Sometimes you sit there at the sink picking, and then you sort of make great big holes in your eggs. Look at that, perfect eggs in, what was it, 8 seconds.
Love it.
Done. So now I've got peeled eggs, peeled potatoes for my husband's potato salad tomorrow night.
Love it. Danny, you'll have to send me the instructions and I will email that out to everybody with the recording so they've got that. So thank you so much. I haven't seen that and that's fabulous.
All right, a little tip each night.
So what I might do, I'd like to quickly just launch a poll, just quickly, just to see what we've inspired you to have a go of. Which recipe did you like? The salad, the Mexican, the mayo, the egg boiler mode, the potato peeler, self-cleaning, all of it. What are you going to make at home or when you get your new TM6? So we've got a few that have loved everything, which is fabulous. A few that have liked the potato peeler, the cooked mayo, that's fantastic. But everyone's answered, so that's fantastic. So thank you. I'm just going to end that poll. And nobody's picked the salad, but we have picked all of the above. Most of us have picked that. Give that salad a go. It is delicious. So I'm just going to quickly just share with you some information on recipe conversion. So hopefully you can hear this. Shout out Danny or somebody if you can't.
I can hear.
I'm just going to play the video. So hopefully, can you guys see the video?
No, because the poll's still on the screen.
Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. Stop the share. Oh, the poll's still on the screen?
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
What are you going to create at home with your TM6 when it is delivered?
Right. So that's finished, is it? Or is it on? Yep. Okay.
It's still on, yeah.
Still on.
You're saying share results.
Okay.
There you go, stop. Oh,
Okay, share results. Stop sharing.
stop sharing.
Is that off now, Danny?
No, the red stop sharing came up, but it left again.
Oh, what's happening?
It's not on my screen.
Yeah, it's not on mine either, Michelle.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Might be because Danny hasn't answered it, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Not on mine.
Excellent. So I'm going to share the screen. Yell out if you can't hear the content. Can you see recipe conversion there?
Yeah.
Sure. Yep.
Awesome. Okay, we're just going to play this. Can you hear that?
Only just, Michelle.
Okay. How do I do? Show and share sound maybe. Okay.
Into
Is
the
that better?
created recipes collection on Cookidoo. So go to My Recipes, click into Created Recipes, and then click the green dot with the plus at the bottom of your screen and select Create Recipe. Type in the title for your recipe and click Create. Now upload an image of your recipe. If you haven't ever created this recipe before, you can add the image later. To add a picture to your recipe, click on the camera icon or the prompt to browse. This will access your computer's files or your device's photo library where you can add an image or drag and drop. Once that uploads, we can proceed to the next step. Before I continue though, I'm going to have my Word document visible so that I can get the information for my recipe correct as I type it into Cookidoo. The first thing I'm going to do is select the devices this recipe can be created using. And this one can be done using a TM6 or a TM5, so I select both. Then I move on to preparation time, total time, and serving. If you're not sure of the numbers for these pieces of information right now, create your recipe, cook it, notice the timings, and then come back and edit this recipe at any time to change any of those details. Now we move on to adding the ingredients. It's as simple as typing it in, one thing at a time. If you have already typed the recipe out, you might like to join the advanced Cookidoo lesson to find out how you can import recipes really easily. As you build your confidence in writing your own recipes or converting recipes, you'll be able to type them straight into your Cookidoo platform instead of writing a document first. Continue to add your ingredients, and when you're ready, click the tick to move on to the next stage, which is adding the preparation steps. Because you've already done the tricky work converting the recipe, you can see the steps in the order that you're going to create them straight away. Begin by typing them in, and be sure to include things like preheating the oven or preparing the baking dish. As you add each step, click Enter on your keyboard or click the plus to create a new step. Now we're about to add our first ingredient, so begin to type in the information in the step. I'm calling this topping so that I can identify when I come to cook the recipe that this is the part of the recipe I'm creating. And the first thing I want to do is add sugar. So I type in the step and then place the cursor in front of the word of the ingredient that I'm going to want to activate the scales for. As I do that, I can click the scales icon and the list of ingredients appears. Click the ingredient that you're adding at the moment and then notice if you want to edit or adjust the amounts before clicking the tick to add that to the recipe step. You'll notice that it is underlined in green. This means that you'll be able to activate the scales by pressing the instruction on the screen of your Thermomix. Now you need to delete the extra letters after this instruction and move on to the next step. In this preparation step, we want to mill the sugar, so click the blade icon and a new pop-out window appears where you can set your time, temperature and your speed. So set your time for the 1 minute, select number 10 for your speed and then click the tick, and you'll see that that's appeared as an underlined item in that preparation step. When you get to your Thermomix, this will be underlined on screen, and when you click it, it will have set the time, temperature and speed for you, and all you'll need to do is turn the selector dial. So you continue to add your preparation steps, adding in your weighed items using the scales icon and Thermomix action steps using the blade icon. So as we add our final preparation step, we can click the green tick and then click confirm at the top of the screen and then click done to save the recipe. Remember that you can come back to this at any time to edit or update the recipe. Simply click on the 3 dots on the recipe tile, select Edit Recipe, which opens the recipe up in edit mode, and you can add or remove information as you need to. Scroll down the screen. You'll remember when we prepared this recipe we had not added in prep time or total time, but I have done that now. Having cooked the recipe, I made notes and I've updated the recipe accordingly. I've also added some hints and tips which you might like to do to help you remember little tweaks that you make to your recipes. So we've had a look at how to convert a recipe and how to add it to Cookidoo. So you can also add it to the recipe.
Okay, I'm just going to stop that.
You're able to upload.
Hopefully that has helped everyone. That's to convert your own recipe, so your mum's carrot cake, and put that on your TM6 for guided cooking. If you have got a favourite recipe community recipe, you can just highlight and save and paste the URL into the same function there of create your recipe, and you've got that recipe by step cooking also. So that is something that is released now. We do have a trial which is ending soon. So Cookidoo 2.0 is $49 a year, and Cookidoo 3.0 will be $69 a year. So we've got a few little things that I just wanted to talk about just before we leave. So somebody asked about the trader. What is the go with the trader? So it doesn't matter if your Thermomix is working. It doesn't matter what condition your Thermomix is in. You can actually return your Thermomix, a model of TM21, 31 or 5. Return that back to Thermomix and you'll get $360 off the purchase price of your TM6. So that is starting, and that is a short time only. We've only got a short window, the 14th of February through to the 28th of February. So if that's something that you are interested in, let us know, and your consultant can be in touch to give you further information. There is a registration page and a page that you can get some more information about the ins and outs of that. So that is one thing we've got available. The price of the TM6 Haley is $2,359. We do have 36 months interest free available till the 9th of February, and then it reverts back to the 24 months interest free. We've also got a gift with purchase, as I said, with the, that lovely cobalt that Kyra had, of $299 for free. But we've also got our fabulous cobalt products in a bundle offer with the purchase of the TM6. So if you purchase a TM6, the cobalt vacuum and mop, and you get the mini vac, that gives you a total discount of $658 on that bundle. So that's quite amazing. I am doing a Zoom presentation at 9:30 on Friday, showcasing the mop and vac. If you can't make it, that's fine. Just register and you'll get the recording to see what that's all about as well. I've personally got the mop and vac and all the accessories, and I'm loving it, as well as the mini vac. And the great thing is, if you're a mum and you've got little kids, they love using it too. So it's a win-win situation. But the mop is fantastic. You're actually mopping the floor and vacuuming at the same time. So for busy people, it's doing two jobs in one. And also too, I did say a snippet at the beginning of this cooking class, we are all earning our black limited edition Thermomix. So if that's something that you had your eye on, it's not too late for you guys to come on board and possibly earn that as well. I'm running an information session at Friday afternoon. If you wanted some more info, let us know. I can give you a quick chat and then you can jump on to learn the ins and outs. But basically, if you sell 6 Thermomixes in February, you can get your hands on that black TM6 for free, plus earning commission as you go on those 6 sales. And the commission on the 6 sales is $2,340. So you've almost earned the price of a Thermomix as well as a Thermomix. So it's a pretty amazing offer. So all of us are on the way to bagging that Thermomix, and we are working towards a trip to Uluru at the same time as well. So we've got our host rewards. So both Amanda and Nathan showed you the lovely thermo servers, and Danny showcased the potato peeler, plus you can get your hands on the thermomats. And Nathan's going to show us that salad in a second as well before we leave. I've just got a quick poll just to see, you know, where you want to go from here. If you want to hear from your consultant and how they can follow you up and help you on your journey. So I'm just going to launch this and I'd love to hear from you. And if you wanted some more information, or if we haven't answered your questions, or if you just wanted your consultant to give you a chat. So give you a call to have a chat about any of these items. So don't be shy, tick them so we can best support you. And you can have as many host as many cooking experiences as you like. They are looking a little bit different at the moment, with COVID teaching us a thing or two that our business can look different. So even if you are thinking of coming on board, you don't have to do the traditional way when you bought your Thermomix 5 years ago or 2 years ago, where we came out to your home and you know, demonstrated in person. We do it online. We do Facebook events. We do all different things to meet our customers' needs of where they are at. So yeah, it does look a lot different. We do lots of things on social media as well. So we've got.
Can I just tell when you finished?
So we've got a few people interested in the host reward, the fantastic Cobalt bundle, and the trade up offer. So that's fantastic. We will be in contact with you. So hopefully my poll works and I can see who has answered those questions. So I'll just end that now, and we'll just quickly flick over to Nathan so he can just show us the finished product.
Yeah,
Nathan.
Thanks, Michelle. So that's the salad in the bowl with some avo.
Yummo.
And I've got some on a wrap ready to roll up and eat. And I'm guilty. I've already had a couple already.
Yeah, good. I was going to say you waited.
So there we go.
And thanks, Nathan. We really appreciate you coming home from Sydney and jumping on and putting on this fantastic class for us. I'm just going to go through the chat and just see if there's any questions.
Can I just have 1 minute, Michelle, please?
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
I forgot to say, hang on.
Hold on a minute. There we go.
I forgot to say, when you're peeling your vegetables in the machine, it doesn't tell you, but it's always good to just put a dash of olive oil into the water, because when it's peeling the potatoes, it just makes all this foam. And it's like all the starch, if you're doing rice or pasta or something, it always bubbles up. So therefore, just put a little bit of oil in it and that stops that. One last thing, the egg shells that are left in here, or the rubbed skin from the potato, don't throw it out, put it on your garden, because it's full of nutrients for your plants. Okay, so just don't throw it down the sink. That's all. I forgot to say that. Okay, thank you.
And Kerry's in the background, lucky he's
he's all right.
Thanks, guys. Is there any last minute questions before we leave you tonight? Really appreciate you jumping on, and hopefully everybody has enjoyed our virtual cooking class. Anybody wanted to add anything or ask anything before we leave? No. Well, thanks so much, guys. I'm going to stop the recording and you will get the emails with some more information.
Thank you.
Thank you.